Without a doubt, one of the coolest communications concepts that I've gotten to cover is Hofstede's cultural dimensions. You have 6 categories, and with these 6 categories, you can compare countries and you can really see all of the workings of culture. You can see the similarities and differences, and really why some countries wouldn't get along. So, for this really kind of appropriately timed example, let's look at Ukraine and Russia. When we look, a lot of the things are really lined up here. They have a lot of really similar values, which is why it's such a really hot take right now with this going on in the world. So let's take a closer look at all of these categories and let's see what these actually mean so you can understand what some of these numbers mean. So first is power distance. Power distance is defined to the extent of which less powerful members within a country accept that power is distributed unequally. A low power distance society is modeled by Burger King because you can have it your way, and a high power distance society is like King George III, where you're going to be getting a lot of taxation without representation. Up next is individualism. The fundamental issue is the degree of interdependence a society maintains among its members, and that's from the Hofstede Insights. It's really about I versus we, and individualism is really something where most of the time they won't take sacrifices to make up for the greater good. They will do what's best for them, and that's usually how it is, and America's a pretty good representation of that. Up next is masculinity, and here we have Michael Phelps basking in the glory with all of his medals and his success, and on the right we have Gandhi. A high score on masculine is really a society driven by competition, achievement, and success, as seen on the picture on the left here. And the lower score, which would be more on the feminine side instead of masculine, it really shows the dominant values in society are caring for others and having a high quality of life. And the fundamental issue, according to the insights, is what motivates people is wanting to be the best in the masculine side or liking what you do more on the feminine side. Up next is uncertainty avoidance. As we can see, Squidward here does not have the best uncertainty avoidance in the time travel episode because he does not like the future. The extent of what members of a culture feel threatened by ambiguous or unknown situations is reflected on the score of the uncertainty avoidance as by the insights. Up next is time orientation. This dimension shows how every society has to maintain the links with its past while dealing with challenges of the present and the future. We can see a lot of traditions and things like this really get taken up and passed along generation upon generation. Like China has a lot of really cool traditions with lanterns and the dragons and stuff like that, where a lower end on this would have a less culturally historic approach, and they would take some of the modern advances and just kind of go with the flow. Finally, here we have indulgence. It's really about a society's ability to enjoy life and have fun. It goes between restraint and indulgence, and what we see is some cultures like Mexico are really indulgent, and they have fiestas and a lot of celebrations of life and death and things like that to constantly remember people why we're here and why the time we have is precious.